Good morning, everybody. It's Connie, and I'm coming to you from Illinois, live on Facebook. Let me just get my comments loaded, and we can get this show started. So here's the thing. Today is going to be a little bit short and sweet compared to normal. Hi, Christy. So I've had a couple of requests to show the album retreat from last weekend, and I'm excited to show it. I have all of my pages done without pictures, so, and they're all, I put them back in their baggies, so oh my gosh, there's gonna be a lot of unpacking. First, let me show you what you get in addition to the way it comes is in a box, and each project has its own project bag, and it's labeled. All the pieces are inside of it. All these pieces are cut. And then we got a big die cut sheet that was white, where all the pieces pop out, and we used those for stamping pieces like this. And then we had a full die cut sheet of black that included all of the titles, which were months of the year, because this was month by month. So, hi Linda. And so when you sign up for the album retreat, you get a link to a private Facebook group. And when you go to that Facebook group, there's a lot of resource things there. You find things like, you know, instruction sheets and printouts and things that you can download to make the instructions and everything. And so that's what this is. And what I like is that the reason I'm showing you this is, so the stamp sets that you get 4 sheets of stamps, which when you have all clear stamps, you know, and you're trying to find one in a hurry, sometimes it's like, I can't remember what sheet that is on or which they're talking about. And it shows you on here what they call it. So the paint splatter, raindrops, the cloud, the berries, the pine sprig, the branch, there's a burst, stars, snowflake, leaf, different types of leaves, a couple types of flowers, an open heart with plus signs. There's like a burst. There were several borders in here that we used. Lots of little shapes, and these were primarily used for those white cutouts, which is kind of cool. They gave us a whole alphabet, which we didn't use a lot of the alphabet, but I have the whole alphabet, and it has the punctuation and stuff, which is really great. So now I have another alphabet for my stash. And some of them had like solids. You know, it was just a really nice set. And you know, compared to the Close to My Heart album retreat, I would say same. It was really great. They did a really great job. Very happy with everything that I received and how it was run. I really think it's good for Stampin' Up! To do these, because you get to know some of the leadership people in the company, because there's a lot of chit chat and talk while they're working, and they do that so that you have time to try to keep up. Because, you know, one thing that's interesting I've noticed in doing classes is that when I'm teaching, I know what I'm doing next. And so I have all my parts and pieces all laid out and ready. And the people watching get behind because they don't know what I'm doing next necessarily. So after I do it, it takes them time to do it. And then if they get into a hitch where they can't find the stamp, or their ink isn't quite right, or, something happens, then they get behind. And so it's really nice to have all the little chatter and stuff during the event. It slows it down a little and allows you to do it with them. Now, the benefit of Facebook is that you can pause the video, and you can, like, the very first layout, boom, we got behind on number 1. There was a group here there were 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 of us, and we all got behind on the very first layout because it was kind of like, I think the presenter was excited and did things slow on her side. But on our side, we needed just a bit more time. And then after that, all the others we were pretty much able to keep up with. And once we hit that pause and caught up, it all sailed smoothly, and we were able to, back up the video, scroll the video back and forth to where we needed to be. And the timing of it was weird. The timing was from 3 our time, 3 in the afternoon until 11 p.m. And frankly, I am not at my best during those particular hours all the time. I used to work 3 to 11, and I thought, oh yeah, this will be no problem. But I've learned that as the day goes on, I get more and more tired. So sometimes during album retreat, you want to be pretty sharp and be able to keep up. So that was one thing that I noticed. Once we hit pause, did the steps, and then hit play and started back up, we didn't miss any of the fun part, and we were able to finish all the pages. I think we all would have, after day 1, we all had a great time. Day 1 was a little bit frustrating and challenging while we learned. We had 2 people in our group who were new at scrapbooking, and that they just needed to work a little slower, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that pause saved us. We also got a bunch of the dots. These are the neutral matte dots. Now mine is not open because I grabbed it out of my stash to show you, but in reality we used it. As far as your own stuff, what you need, a lot of adhesive. I used a lot of liquid glue because it's fast, and I like the Barely Arts glue, or the Art Glitter glue, for that purpose. You can use other glues, but that green and white bottle of glue I would not recommend for scrapbook, because if it goozes out, it doesn't dry. It stays just a little bit tacky, and it's nice to have an extra glue that will dry nice and clear and strong and is acid free and it doesn't stay tacky. It dries very fast. So that's why I recommend that. Anyway, so this is what we got. Let me show you the pages. So I printed the instructions for each of the people who were at my house, so that everybody had like a picture of the layout in front of them. And we just tucked these into our bag before we got started, so that as we went and pulled out all the parts and pieces we needed to finish the layouts, we had the picture in front of us. Not necessarily the instructions, although some people work better with instructions. All right, let me adjust camera just a little bit so you can see both pages. So what I got shadows, sorry. Here's the thing. I do not add titles typically to my layouts because until I know exactly what I'm going to use it for. And I am not totally sure on this one yet. And so I think I might do my new cat on this one. And so I'll put her name up here and maybe the date here. But, and there's a couple of tags that come out. I glued this one down. And then they showed you at the end of each page how to cut the page protector. So, I can show you that at some point. It's not that hard. I always keep an eye out for these small style. This one is like a 6x8 cutting mat. These small style mats, you can find them at Dollar Tree. You can find them wherever. This one happens to be from Club Scrap. But what I love about these is you can slide it into the page protector and make your cut. And so this is really nice. Now you can use cardboard or chipboard, but these are inexpensive things. And if you're going to be cutting your page protectors a lot, it's nice to have an actual mat and then just a blade where you cut. So yeah, if you want to see how to cut a page protector, I can show you that. But anyway, this was kind of a cool thing. Now I wanted bling. The bling in this is black. Obviously those neutral dots are black, white, and like tan. And I didn't know if I would use a black title on this. I might, but I didn't want to use my black dots just in case. I didn't want them to stand out. So I grabbed some pink ones out of my stash. You can use whatever you want. Just for the record, I am the kind of person who tends to kind of change things up a little bit once in a while because I can. But one thing I've learned with Album Retreat is that it really helps to just let the process go. The colors aren't your colors. Do them anyway, because often what happens is the colors end up being so beautiful. And some of my favorite pages are ones that were done with colors I would never put together in a million years. Now this is the one I botched up. This was number 1 and I screwed it up from the start. And I think I just tried to work too fast and I was like, whatever. So mine doesn't have this pink piece here, and it's not lined up quite right. You can see like this wide piece was supposed to go here. I put it here. I don't know. I just sort of, but you can see it's a beautiful layout. I absolutely love it. Your eye does not catch the errors very much. Now this right here, I may have to do something with, but I don't know what. I thought about just putting a white piece right there and then that wouldn't even be an issue, right? Like if I cover up this pink piece right here, I think the whole thing will be fine. But this is the only one I can say that I don't know. I don't know where I went off the rails, but I did. But it still turned out beautiful and I absolutely love it. And then I redid this one with that kintsugi paper, and I feel like I still didn't quite get it right. But the instructions tell you step by step. Yeah, see, your eyes don't go to the errors. Your eyes go to the general layout. And the main thing that's going to show will be your photos. And that's what you'd see when you're flipping through. Nobody's going to analyze every page. It doesn't have to be all perfect. You can see we did some sponging and clustering and some stamping direct to the page, which, you know, freaks out some people a lot. That obviously does, I've gotten over that over the years. I've gotten over that. But it is a little scary when you do that the first time. These black pieces, these black hearts were the only other black item in that black chipboard type thing. And then we made this little book where I just have this tacked in here. You use it to trace a photo and then it'll fit in there. I just made a really fast template while we were messing around. And then you can have journaling or something here and a photo here or two photos. I considered leaving it open, but we'll see. Anyway, they showed you how to, you know, cut your page protector so that this will be on the outside of it. It's all good. So anyway, I love how now the other thing is these pages are intense. They're made to be intense. If they were made to be super duper simple, you could do them on your own all the time. You would not think it was worth your money. And, sorry, I had to take a drink. And so when you look at these pages, think of them as a project. Each one, you're learning different skills. There's a lot of prep work. So you can see we stamped on lots of pieces. You know, you have to prep all of this stuff. And just every page has extra. Now, I had a lot of foam ready, and if you purchase the album retreat from me, I send you an adhesive package that's worth some major money, or not major, but you know, I did not skimp. I feel like people who bought the album retreat should feel like they have everything they need to get started. And so the people who bought it from me, I sent them a pack of different adhesives and like a Misty Moonlight cube. And I don't know, I just sent a few things. Now here's where I told you I learned my lesson. Don't change things up. But I have two layouts that I changed. This is one of them. Now let me show you the layout. I looked at this and was trying to figure out what I would use it for. And I thought, well, the colors are not quite right. And I think what threw me was the black title. If I didn't have the black title, I think I would have figured out a good thing to use with this, but I really just did not love this paper right here. Even in person, I didn't love it. Now, all the rest, these colors are beautiful together. I just didn't love this floral. So I kind of, when I started messing around, I had lots of time while my group was catching up, and I got into my stash and I had one sheet of this, you know, that Farmer's, what is that? Celebratory Sips paper. That's what I had, like one sheet of this fruit paper left. And I went ahead and I changed it up. And when I changed it to this, then the peach color that was here seemed too soft. And then I was like, well, what would I use this for? I'll use this for fall. I would use this for autumn or late summer. And so I just changed all the papers. It wasn't that hard to change the papers, but I kind of regret it because part of the fun of album retreat is going out of your comfort zone, going out of your box, and doing something that's just different for you, and this is not different for me. This is totally my style. And so I really love the layouts of my friends who were here. I loved how their layouts turned out. They turned out absolutely beautiful. And I think in retrospect, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to talk myself out of changing it up. Although I do love this layout a lot. I will definitely use it. I just think, why did I do that? Now here's the other one that I changed up. Here's April. And it had that paper again. Now, I can tell you, when I looked at this layout, I personally, in a million years, would never put these papers together. Never. I would never put this floral with this purple, with this blue, with this green, with this yellow. Just would not do it. And it's not that I didn't like these. I just, putting them all together seemed weird. And I started kind of looking at it. And Nancy, hi Nancy. Nancy and I were kind of looking at it, and we were like, what would change it to something less, I don't know. It just seemed like too much difference. I needed it all to be a little more cohesive. And so now this change, the only thing that I changed on it, the only thing I changed was that I added Blackberry Bliss instead of the yellow, and all the other things. And I took that floral off that I don't love. Why don't I like that floral? I don't know. But it wasn't my favorite, and it was just like a little 1.5 inch strip or 1.25 inch strip. I'm like, I have scraps. I'll figure something out. So this is what I did with it. And after this, I was like, I really loved my friends' layouts when they finished this. I really loved how this layout ended up looking. I'm surprised how much the picture does not do it justice at all. It really looked gorgeous. And I thought, I'm gonna stop changing things, you know? No, the flowers, no, we did not have to fussy cut. They were part of that die cut sheet. All of the pieces, the clouds, the bird, the little bumpy medallion thing, all the flowers, leaves, and these little pieces that we put on, all were a part of that white sheet that we stamped on. Now, that being said, this flower was hard to line up a little bit. And one of the things that they recommended, like on day 3, which was too late for all of us, was to leave the die cuts in the sheet and not punch them out, and then stamp them the way they're shown on the sheet. And I was looking at that and I was thinking, one of the prep things that I might have changed for this retreat would be to prep all of these die cuts at the same time, in terms of just the black stamp or just the color. Like, everybody get out your black ink and we're going to stamp all the clouds at the same time. Now let's use them as we need them. Let's stamp all of the flowers, and then you can punch those out after they have their black or colored stamping. I think that might have made it easier than doing it a little bit piecemeal. Close to my heart, never did it that way either. But that flower was a little bit, it has so many little bumps. It took a little while to figure out which way to turn it to stamp, which slowed us down. But what I changed, they had, okay, show you one more time. They just left them black and white. And a lot of the pages had black and white images. We sponged a little at the bottom of the clouds. Each page had a lot of stamp prep, and you'll notice, like, these pages have, you know, the raindrops random stamp. So we had random stamping. I put a border on. I sponged mine because I liked them in color. I added this little doodad at the bottom that was not there. That is totally just me, because that was not on the corner of this page right there. So I added a lot to this page, and I do love how it turned out. The other thing on this one had a little interactive flap, and again, they showed you how to cut your page protector so that this would, you know, be able to be looked at. And there were flip flaps on a lot of these pages too. Like the last one I showed had a lot of flip flaps, and they showed how to cut those. I didn't add any flip flaps. Flip flaps were a part of the kit as well. I just didn't add mine. I have them sitting here ready to use, but I just did not add them. And then I was thinking, you know, if I made like a boho rainbow thing and put it right here in the right colors, I think this would look really cool with all the clouds. I love the idea of having this on here. So I have some things I'd like to add to this depending on how I use the paper. Okay, am I going too slow? I'm sorry. I really thought, show them this over 10 or 15 minutes and that'll be it. So May, this is how May was supposed to look. There's a couple of things I did change, not a lot. I did not like how they gave us a twine. They gave us the white twine, like baker's twine. And I didn't like how this one was like wrapped around. Do you see how that's like all over the place? So I got out my punch, you know, my favorite punch. It's like a little corner punch. And I did mine a little differently. I punched the corners and then I wrapped it. And you can see, it's just like, okay, I am a neat, clean scrapper in general. I like my things to be linear and geometric, and so this page was like one of my favorites to do. And then that twine just like made me shake. I just was like, I can't do it. So I just changed it to be straight. Oh my God. I know it's crazy, but so there was prep on this page, tearing. So we learned paper tearing. There was more blending, stamping direct. There's that little border. Here's another little white piece. There's these little tiny circles were, there was also a big, like a die cut sheet of colored paper. But these were in the pack. The strips were in the pack. One thing you really have to be careful of when you do the album retreat is to really lay out your pieces, because, for example, like on one page, a piece might be 11 inches and this one might be 12 or something like that. And so you want to make sure you put them in the right place. Like, it really does help to have, like, I had my glass mat so I could lay out the pieces on it and really measure them and make sure I was putting them on the right side. Tip. That was a good one. And then this piece is one of those irresistibles, and we got a couple of sheets of irresistibles, like 2.5 sheets, I think. So this was a half sheet, and obviously we sponged that. Now it was all in yellow, but I sponged it with a little bit of orange in the middle, and then I went out to yellow, and you can't see it, but I just thought it would look cool. I was wrong. It's covered up. So all yellow would have been just fine. And then this little sun, we pieced that together. You can see that there's like, you know, the grid and the rays, and that was part of the white pack. The little numbers were part of a die cut punch that it came. We didn't have to punch circles. And so, yeah, you know what? This page has a lot of detail, and at first blush, you would think, oh, that's a simple page, because it's just, you know, you look at the photos. Oh, the other thing, the other thing that all of us changed, I think all but Karen may have changed it. So the torn pieces were on the left side here and on the left side over here. And it was like, oh, that's weird. To me, it looks like it looks like it needs to be turned. And so essentially, this is how it was supposed to be, kind of. And I don't know. I needed it to be more balanced. So I just flipped it to over here. You do not have to change a single thing. Yeah, Christy, I think you'd love it. I really do. I think it was worth every penny that I paid. I absolutely love it. And look, I'm only to June. Oh my God, get moving, Connie. But I love showing you all the detail and all the great things that are in here. This is one that had a lot of flip flaps. So flip flap there. And so they showed us how to cut the pages. This one also had even though it was the most simple layout ever, they showed us how there was a lot of prep. This one had a lot of prep. It was the simplest page though. I feel like I will redo this pattern over and over again. I absolutely love it. And what it is it's just 6 by 1.5 inch strips. And look how many different patterns there are. There's that flower that I didn't love. With the Darling Duckling, which is not my favorite new color, but I like how it looks. And then they did a little cluster of the blue and black, and then there was a little of the pink with the looks like periwinkle. I'm not sure what color that actually is. Amethyst maybe. And then here's this one with the green and polka dots. I mean, think about this. I would never put this together normally. And you can see each piece has a lot of prep. I think this little tag was meant to be able to pull out, but I just tucked it in there. I knew I wouldn't actually make it interactive, so. And then this is that page where, you know, a lot of flip flaps, you know, will go. And so you have lots of room for photos. But I'm more inclined to use, as you know, larger pictures. I'm more inclined to do a title with a picture here, maybe a couple small pictures here, a large picture here. I'm more inclined to make it bigger. So I didn't put in any photo mats or flip flaps or anything. I do like how theirs looks that way. Actually, I think it goes this way, like this. I don't think it matters. It's beautiful. I didn't actually change any of their clusters or anything. All I did on here basically was I put it together, and I decided to hold off on doing the details until I get my photos ready. Now this one in particular, as soon as I saw it, Nancy said, this is like a great boy page. These are great boy colors. And I'm like, oh yeah, this would be great. And I have lots of pictures of Steve and I playing pinball and video games. Because, you know, that's what we do. And so I did not do any of this clustering. I didn't want it to be fireworks in July. I wanted it to be different. And since I was just messing around, since we were pausing and you know, catching up and stuff, I had time to mess around a little bit. And so I knew I was going to use this for my video game stuff. And I was able to cut out, Stampin' color a couple of video game controls and use my, instead of using their medallion, I was able to add my own little title. And then I went ahead and I did the 4 photos just like they did, and these 2 photos are just like they did, but I went ahead and added a photo mat here instead of all of this. I knew I would have a big picture that I wanted there. I might even have a flip flap to add to this one. So I really love how this looked. I added from my own stash a little of this black and white stamping here, and that was my own stash. And then I made the little splosh, the splush, whatever that they called it, splatter. I did it in black, where they had stamped fireworks and stars and this banner. I just changed my decoration. I had a different theme that I wanted, and so I used the stars and all that, but I did add some of my own stamps to this. I just really love how that turned out. Oh my gosh. And now that's probably one of my more favorite pages. And I did make a few changes. There's no reason you can't change it to what you want it to be, but I just need to allow the color scheme to work. Just quit messing with their colors, because even though they're not my style, I often love those pages in my book. This was my favorite page from the start, August. I love the colors of it, and I was like, this could be used for so many things. I totally see Disney layout here, and so I'm excited about using it for Disney. So I did not add the title August, and you can see I did the starburst again. We did like a little bit of like orange in the middle and went out to yellow. This piece right here, this white piece, was actually already cut as part of a die cut sheet. So it came with this layer already cut and ready to go. And you just, and it came with the Irresistible. My tip with the Irresistibles when you do those is, after you ink it, take a Kleenex or something and rub onto these white areas and get the excess ink off. It won't stay there most of it anyway. It really does help to make that white pop. It's beautiful. I loved the dots. Seriously, I thought, I'm gonna be putting foam tape on these dots like crazy. No, I put foam tape on the whole thing, so you can see it's like popped up, and it's solid and sturdy because I used a lot of foam tape. We inked, this piece was part of the inside of the circle, and we used it on this page. This was meant, the string thing, I don't know. It didn't work for me. I don't know. I wasn't going to do it. And then at the last minute, I decided to do it. And then I was like, I kind of botched it just a little, but it's not bad. But the idea was, you know, journaling on here. So here's one, you would like, and the string attaches it. I hope that makes sense. So you would journal about number 1, then number 2, then number 3, number 4, and number 5. And I don't know, I did my string wrong. Not true. I decided at the last minute to go ahead and do the string, and by then I had already attached everything. So I had to wing it. So I have this like on top of here, knowing that, you know, my photo will cover that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But See, I'm showing you all my little, I also put, they had the white dots on here, and I think this layout in particular, the black dots, would look really good. And so I left some of the stuff that I thought I might Disney-fy this one and use Mickey heads. So there you go. But a lot of prep. So all the strips, that is a stamp that we stamped all over it. All of the dots. This was stamped and this was stamped. You know, look at the dots in detail. Colored, stamped. Those came pre-done. Stamped, 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 stamped. So there was some prep. The clouds. So cool, cool, cool. Love, love. We're on to September. And this one, I made a mistake because I was goofing around and I wasn't listening. I was goofing around. I wasn't listening. Yeah, Nancy, you know what? Here's my thing. I do not put all these in the same album. I do this one's going to Disney. This one's going to my pet album. This one's going to my everyday album, you know. I don't put them together, and so it's not like, it's nice to have something a little different from your norm in your albums and switch them up. I like that. So here's where I'll tell you, I just wasn't paying attention. I'm so dumb. So this one was very straightforward. I've done this layout several times, and you can see the squares go onto a white base. The white base was already pre-cut, and I started attaching it, and then I attached it to the page. And then I realized there is an off-white base under the white. I was like, oh, it's beautiful. And I missed it. And it was too late because I had already attached my white to my base. And it was like, well, that was dumb. And so one thing that I cut it into strips and just kind of put it around the edges because I felt like it needed it. And I botched it up. So my layout looks different from the picture because this piece, instead of cutting it up, was supposed to be a mat under this. And I really love how I really wish I wouldn't have screwed that up. The other thing that's on this page that's really cool is this interactive element, and they show you step by step how to make this interactive book that goes onto your page. And it is, a 1/4 inch thick. It's going to be a thick page, but it's beautiful. And it opens like this. And you can put more photos. There's little tags that are removable. You can put a photo on here and tuck it in the pocket. We made all the little pockets, the little tags. That's the other thing. You do a lot of corner trimming, and if you don't like making tabbed corners, you could just make your own tags. Honestly, if I was on my own, completely on my own, I'd probably grab my tag dies and just make my own tags rather than messing with this corner thing. The other thing that I have is, let me grab it. I have these corner style punches. They cut 3 different corners, and it is really nice to be able to tuck that in and make your edges exactly the same from side to side. But it is, you can do it. We've all made tag edges. This one's a rounder. Anyway, you didn't have to do it that way. You didn't have to. And then, of course, room for photos, lots and lots of detail, okay? Stamped, 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 stamped. I mean, if you don't like to stamp on your pages, you'll hate this. Stamped. This is all stamped. We made this little book, which is really great. I love it so much. You guys, I love this. But sponged, stamped. I added the camera. The camera is not part of the stamp set. I just grabbed it out of my stash because I wanted it to be, I gotta be honest, by the time we got to September, I was kind of sick of, hold on a minute. Let me show you what they put there. I was kind of sick of this little dotted heart, this heart with the plus signs. I was just kind of sick of having, as somebody who has the last name Hart, I do not like to have hearts on absolutely everything I do. And so, oh my gosh, there was just so many hearts. Hearts, 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 hearts. So I just kind of, it has a heart, but that little open heart, I was like, nah, I'm done with it for a while. And it already had one on this side, and I colored it in with my ink while I was messing around. I added the fun times on my own. It was not there. You know, I got out my past album retreat pieces and just added a few things on my own. I like that. You know, the album retreat layouts, see that you could put the year. I did not do any of that. My title, you can see, totally, I sponged it and left it blank, but I know where the title goes. I can put a subtitle here or a date. I don't know. I haven't decided. But, and you may hate the way I fixed the off-white, but I added stitched pen lines. I think it looks like a quilt. So I might put my county fair pictures on here. I think that would look really nice. Or maybe some of my crafty. This would be a really nice page of the photos of the people at my retreat. I think this would be a great layout. We took tons of pictures, and so I think this would be a really sweet page to do a layout about our retreat. Huh. Oh my God. Look at what time it is. What is wrong with me? Chat, chat, chat. It's like I haven't talked to people for a while. Yeah. Hi, Denise. Oh my gosh. Okay. I told you I changed things up. We all changed this up. I saw Nancy's layout and I copied her. I was like, oh, I like what you did. I'm totally changing mine too. And then I went off the rails and did something totally different completely. So I love the colors of this layout. I love it. But October, if you're going to go fall, don't put little florals all over it. It needs pumpkins. It needs leaves. It needs fall. It needs different. And so this one was a little, the colors were great. The layout was great. I just didn't like the decorations. And so, all right, people, here's what I did. Okay, so Nancy rearranged her circles like this, and I really liked that. And then they had a strip of tan at the top and the bottom, and she took those strips and put behind her circles. Do you see that? And I was like, ooh, I love that. And I did the same thing on this side. And then I'm like, it needs more orange because I am an orange lover, and of course I have my stash right here. And so I grabbed some pumpkin colored paper, and I made it all the way around border instead of just a strip at the top and bottom. I could have just done a strip. And then the circles were actual real pockets that you could tuck photos and things into, and then they showed how to cut the page protector and all that, and I'm like, I don't need it to be interactive, but I was careful so that I could tuck photos behind. But I really loved adding this black border. I think adding the black to this makes it a lot more Halloween-y looking, don't you think, with the orange and black? And this could totally be summer, could totally be Halloween. I really like how it turned out. Could be a line eye. Look at that, orange and blue. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love this page. It turned out, I love it. You know what? All these are ones that I'm like so happy with. I am so happy with the layouts that we got. And we were able to finish the whole thing. And yes, it's a lot of work. November, I just liked it just the way it was. I did it just the way it was. And there are some little tricks to doing this page. So this was really cool. So what they did, I did not put my, I didn't put my like photo mats on. Like this calls for a 3x4 and a 4x4 and a 4x4 and a 3x4, like a patchwork of photos. And I was kind of wondering if I might not just do a couple of larger. I wasn't sure. And so easier to just leave it blank. This was all done exactly the same way. This has foam behind it, and they show you how to make it so that there's just a little slide thing there and here. Do you love it? This will be a great page for fall. So excited to. All of these brown pieces were they were on a die cut sheet you punched out, and there they are. And then we stamped these onto white pieces. That was stamped. There's the little dots. This was the other sheet of the Irresistibles that we got. So it's a subtle look on the whole thing. Like you certainly cannot see it easily in the photo. But in real life, it's like, wow. It's a wow. You can definitely see it even in the background where you don't ink it. And I probably inked it extra dark because I just wanted more. I love it. I love it. And so, yeah, I just did that page as is. And then I had this extra, and I was thinking this might be a good one, I don't know, for this page, like to do like a little something with it. And so I just threw it into the bag in case I wanted to use it. And finally, we're to December. Are y'all sick of me yet? It's been an hour showing you this thing. The overall thing, it was like 3 full days. I feel like there are pages I could have finished much faster on my own, and I think we did. We paused it and we worked ahead prepping. Once you do a few of these layouts and you've prepped some of the pieces, you can totally see ahead of time what you're going to need to do, and it's faster just to prep them all yourself really quick than it is to wait and do it with them on the screen. So, doing some prep ahead makes these a lot faster. Like if you know you're going to be stamping this 2 stamps onto each circle, cool. You know you're going to stamp this on here, cool. You know what I mean? Like just do it and then play the video, right? I did not add the white twine to that. This page is so rich and beautiful. It's so, like, this looks, I don't know, washed out or something. In real life, it's like, wow, it looks rich. It looks beautiful. I think I may have used the dark side. Oh, here's what I did. I think they used the light side of papers and I used the dark. And that did make a difference. And then you can see, here's my error, if you can see it. I used the dark side of the green on one page and the light side of the green on the other. Not noticeable when you're looking at the page right off the bat, but so I guess my moral of my story is you can make errors all over the place. No one's gonna know, right? These are little pieces that are removable. And then I think did I glue that in? No. And this could be photos, it could be journaling, you know, whatever you want it to be. You make this pocket, or just seal it down, you know, and don't worry about it. But I like the idea of having this. I was thinking that these little round things might be nice pull tabs on here so that people would know to pull them out or give them something to grip onto. I don't know. I may do something with those. But otherwise, I even added the title to this one because I really liked how it turned out. Everything about it, love it. Turned out great. And I was very happy. Overall, very happy with the whole album retreat. And if you decide you want to do it, it's still available. And oh, I also inked the edges of my paper in black because I just felt like I wanted a little more black on the page, but not to the point where I had like black mats. But you can see that it does change things up just a little. And when I inked the dark side of the red, like I did blending on here just like they did, but it doesn't even show. It just blended right into the color, so you can't even see it, but that's okay. I inked the edges with black. So anyway, album retreat still available. You get access to the Facebook group. In 30 days, you know, their videos disappear also, and then they're going to post links to the YouTube page that they're going to do. And so, yeah, we have, it's, I think, a solid value. You get your page protectors, you get your, all your parts and pieces, you get the twine, we got, oh my gosh, you got like several pages of irresistibles and the, I don't know, all the parts and pieces, which is really nice. And like you saw me, I screwed up on like, I don't know, 3 out of the, I screwed up several of the pages. And then I just tweaked them to be my own. And I love them. So anyway, that's what I have for today. And if you have more questions, feel free to message me. I hope you liked the walkthrough. And have a great weekend. Bye-bye.